Welcome back. Happy Monday, my friends, and welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World. And on today's episode of the Prime, we're going to break down the week 6 of the National Football League so far. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Hoff, and there's my co-host, Mr. TJ Hawkins, and our good friend and brother from the Daily Blitz.blog, our good friend, Christian Simpson. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as we bring you guys daily content. You want to miss any of that action. Gentlemen, happy Monday, my friends. How you all doing?
Monday.
Yeah, I'm good. Just finished recording Monday, eating a quarterback.
Not a shameless plug or anything there.
You already, come on, Dave. You already know.
Go check out that content. It's on YouTube, Instagram, and all the places over there at dailyblitz.blog. You're going to want to keep up an eye on with that content. And I'm surprised you're not a little more salty today after you got to your New York Giants. Got a little bit hosed last night on that final play of the game.
Look, man, it's all business, as TJ said. You know, like that's he always
that call did save my survivor pick, so I am appreciative of the refs for that call. They did me a personal favor. So moving on, let's talk about week number 16. Let's talk about Thursday Night Football. Let's start first in Arrowhead, and the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Denver Broncos 19-8. Then Denver does not score a touchdown until the fourth quarter. Denver in this game, Russell Wilson 13-22, 95 yards passing, 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Javonte Williams was good in the first half of this game, 10-52. The Broncos ran the ball for 5 yards a carry. They ran the ball for 115 yards as a team. They just really didn't lean on their running game. Cortland Sutton caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Denver Broncos. On the Chiefs side of this, didn't look a whole lot better. Basically only had the 1 touchdown, had to settle for field goals, 5 trips into the red zone, 0 touchdowns to show for it in this game. Patrick Mahomes, 30 of 40. 306 yards, touchdown, and a pick. Isaiah Pacheco only had 16 carries in this game for 62 yards. Travis Kelce, a monster game for him as well, 9 for 124. And Kadarius Toney caught the lone receiving touchdown for Kansas City.
Not really impressed with Kansas City. Yeah, they got the win, but man, it's just so many issues right now with Denver. I thought Sean Payton and Russell Wilson would have been a marriage, a football marriage waiting to happen, but they're not on the same page with one another. And you can tell. It's like what TJ shared to us the other day, in the group chat. Sean is trying to treat Russell Wilson like he's Drew Brees, and you got to realize, man, Drew was a future Hall of Famer. Russell's good, but come on, it's like comparing apples. It's like comparing apples and oranges. Kansas City, I'm gonna keep saying it until they do something about it. They need another pass catcher outside of Travis Kelce. I mean, I know he was targeted times and he caught all 9 passes, but that's the first read he's gonna make. It's the Kelce.
Yeah. I also think that this Kansas City Chiefs needs to rely on their running game a little bit more than they have been. I mean, 16 carries for Isaiah Pacheco, the guy who was averaging nearly 3.5 yards a clip against a bad Denver Bronco run defense. I know Denver got up for this game because it's Kansas City. Like they played noticeably harder, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But run the ball. You have a good running back. You have a good running back room. Like, run the football until you can figure out. And I think they should target Rashid Rice way more than they're currently doing. He is a talented football player. And it wouldn't surprise me by the end of the year if he's wide receiver 1. Obviously, Travis Kelce is 1, but Rashid Rice has got it. He's going to be good this season for them.
Well, get open.
Yeah.
Get open. It's a simple concept. Get open. All right. I'm not going to constantly try to, if I'm Pat Mahomes and I know he can make the throws, but you're not going to constantly try to fit the ball into tight windows because, I got to throw to other people not named Travis Kelce. No, get open. Travis Kelce somehow, some way, magically always finds a way to be wide open. And those other dudes don't. And if you're Denver, you got to, no other way about it. You got to win this game. You got to win this. You got to find a way to win this game. Like, it was right there for the taking. It was right there for you. Defense played lights out. You held Pat Mahomes led offense to 19 points, below 20 points. This is the 16th straight time you've lost 16 in a row to them now.
Yeah.
Right? Like now, a bunch of that was Drew Lock and other quarterbacks. And Christian, you brought up the Hall of Fame thing. Let's not act like Russell wasn't on the Hall of Fame trajectory. It's severely plummeted. Like his Hall of Fame.
But TJ, you also had to look at it like this too. When you saw Russell a majority of the time, in Seattle, what was his style of play? Extending the play, moving the pocket, making throws with a moving pocket, and making life happen with his feet. You're not seeing that. You haven't seen that the last.
Real quick, welcome into the CEO of Prime Sports World, Israel Vera, into the show. Also, we got a comment on the Twitch. Somebody giving us a shout out all the way from Portugal. We love that kind of shout out. We appreciate that kind of stuff. But yeah, go ahead, DJ. Go ahead.
Oh, part of that falls on Sean Payton. Then, like, you got to move the pocket.
Yeah,
like you got to play to his strengths.
I always say,
but
cater to your quarterback skill set.
And if I'm Denver, and if a blow up is imminent, then you can't be picky with the offers that you get. Like, so if somebody call you and say, "Hey, I'll give you a third and a fifth for Jerry Jeudy," you better take it, because it ain't like you got a lot of picks to work with to begin with.
Not to mention, Jerry Jeudy has not been remotely good in his NFL career. Like, let's just call it spade a spade. He hasn't been good.
No, he hasn't. And the whole thing with Steve Smith.
Okay. And that was cute. And Chad Johnson touched on this on his podcast with Shannon Sharp. Are they using Jerry Jeudy right? Are they utilizing him right? He doesn't have the target share whatsoever. That you would expect. It took a spectacular catch from Court. It took a spectacular catch from Courtland Sutton to even get noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Russell's go-to guy is Courtland Sutton.
Yeah, this whole Denver team is dysfunctional. I'm really not impressed with the Kansas City Chiefs at all this year. They're probably the worst 5-1 team in the league. Out of all the 5-1 teams that are out there, what's that? The Bills, Eagles.
Bills are not 5-1. They're 4-2.
4-2.
It's the San Francisco 49ers, Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. So yeah, no, there's
Detroit,
out of those three teams,
Detroit,
Dolphins. Yeah, out of all those teams, I think all of those teams are better than Kansas City. And and the Denver Broncos, like I said, man, this super dysfunctional. I agree with everything you guys said. I don't even think they're using. I don't know what's going on with the passing game. Russell Wilson is, he's just not himself. He's a shell of himself. They were running the ball extremely effectively in that first drive. Absolutely.
Then they went away from it and never went back to it.
Yeah.
So it's a head scratcher.
I'm not sure what Sean Payton it wants to prove there. And I'm not sure if he thought that they were gonna that they were stacking the box. I don't know what he was seeing. We were watching the game. Those guys were running the football really effective. So like I said, man, at the end of this whole debacle in his last couple years, Sean Payton, I know this is his first year. He probably won't be there next year. And Russell Wilson, damn sure, probably ain't going to be there next year.
Yes, he is.
That's just my opinion.
He is.
Yes, he is. No, I don't think so.
We talked about this a lot on the show.
They are not going to eat $61 million, bro.
The Denver Broncos. There's a way to opt out, to get rid of all. They can find a way to move his money around. Moving on from this game, let's talk about going on over to Sunday across the pond. We got the Baltimore Ravens beating the Tennessee Titans 24-16. Lamar Jackson 21 of 30, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Lamar Jackson also leading rusher for this team, 13 for 62. Mark Andrews, lead receiver, but Zay Flowers caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Ravens. On the other side of this, Ryan Tannehill did not play well in this game and then got hurt with an ankle injury. I have not seen the update on his status. 8 of 16 for 76 yards and a pick. Malik Willis came in the middle of the third quarter at some point, 4 of 5, 74 yards. King Henry showed up in this game, 12 carries for 97 yards and a touchdown. Tajay Spears, leading receiver with 1 catch for 48 yards. Go ahead.
Man, I watched a little bit of this game. Honestly, yeah, Ryan Tannehill went out with a lower extremity injury down there in London. I was up early for this game too, and so at some point, Malik Willis did come in, and he did first play of the game. Boom, completed pass, rolled him out. Bam, completed pass. But other than that, I mean, they just couldn't protect, and he holds on to the ball a little too long, and that's just inexperience. That's just from him going into the game.
I mean, he was 4 for 5. I mean, that's pretty good efficiency. I mean,
it's not. But he did eat up. I think he got sacked once or twice.
David, it's 5 passes. Calm down. No, it's pretty efficient.
I mean, it is.
They were short.
He was sacked 4 times for 30 yards. That's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's where he holds the ball a little too long. And I would love for him to just take off. You got that athletic ability, just take off. When it comes to the Ravens, I mean, hey, they played. Hey, those wide receivers were catching the ball, this week. I'd say that they were catching the ball this week. Ran the ball. They controlled the clock. Ran the ball efficiently. I mean, besides the Derrick Henry run, where I think we were all amazed. They scored. Derrick Henry scored on that. He had 90-some yards. After I felt like the first half, he was first quarter or something, he was like getting bottled up. I was like, man, I don't think Derrick Henry's going to even get close or eclipse close to even 100 yards.
He got 97.
And he got 97, yeah. So he was
close.
It was
looking pretty rough there in the first half.
It was looking really rough. So, but I was, like I said, it's the Titans, man. The Ravens are supposed to win that game. They did what they're supposed to do. They controlled the clock like they were supposed to do. And that they came out of there with a W. That's the main important part about that.
I just got one quick takeaway for both teams. One, Tennessee. Again, I don't want to see Ryan Tannehill. Healthy or not, I don't want to see Ryan Tannehill. I don't want to see him take any more snaps for this team. I don't want to see it. I'm pretty sure Titans fans don't want to see it. Like, you drafted 2 young dudes in back-to-back drafts for a reason. For the love of God and all that is holy, play one of them. You don't need. We know what Ryan Tannehill is. We know.
Not to mention, you're 2-4 at this point.
You're 2-4 at this point.
You're way behind the Jaguars. You're not going to catch them in the division. Just figure out what you got.
Play Willis. Play Levis. Play one of them. Baltimore. The red zone play calling. Awful.
Horrible, yeah. That's what I was going to say too. That's what I was going to say too. They Justin Tucker hit like 4 chippies, and it's because the red zone offense stalled, and they need to, like, I don't know what they need to do. I don't know if that's because of they have a guy Justice Hill and Gus Edwards. I don't know if that they're not calling the right place for Lamar, but yeah, they need to sew that up.
It's like run. It's like run, QB keep, and then why is it working? Like I don't know. Maybe it's because it's predictable.
It's not good. It's not good at all.
Yeah, this is a nice bounce back win for the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar was in control, and the Ravens gave up their first rushing touchdown of the year.
Yes.
Other than that, the Ravens they were active on the defensive front, lots of activity in the front seven. The secondary played well, and I'm with TJ. You guys know, for as long as I've been working with you guys, I've been anti-Ryan Tannehill forever. Like, he doesn't move the needle, and he's not a guy that's going to get you to the promised land. TJ's right. Start Levis, start Willis, make a decision, and see what you got in the young guys. Who's going to be your quarterback next year? The Titans are a mess.
Hello, Yoli.
Moving on from this, moving on back across the pond. We got the Washington Commanders beating the Atlanta Falcons at home, 24-16. Sam Howell bounced back from what was a subpar game last week. 14 of 23, 151 yards and 3 touchdowns. Brian Robinson leading rusher with 10 carries and 31 yards. Scary Terry McLaurin was the leading receiver, but he did not have a receiving touchdown. Those went to Curtis Samuel, Brian Robinson Jr., and Antonio Gibson. On the other side, Desmond Ridder followed up with his best performance with the turnover riddled game here including a interception on a game-winning drive where they could have driven them into the end zone. Throws a pick in the end zone. Ridder, 28 of 47, 307 yards, 2 picks and 3 interceptions. Tyler Algier, 13 carries, 51 yards. Drake London, 9 catches for 151. Kyle Pitts and Jonnu Smith. Good to see 2 tight ends get 2 touchdowns in this game. Bijan Robinson, pretty lackluster performance from him. Usage not is what you'd expect it to be. 5 catches and only 13 carries in this game.
Drake London had 125. Where you get 151 from?
I may have flipped that up. 125, yes.
You definitely did. The Atlanta Falcons, they laugh at Bears fans. Y'all in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes too. Come on, get on the train get on the train. Y'all in that too. Because it should be probably leading the train. Because if you saw Arthur Smith's reaction to that last interception, that should literally tell you all you need to know. They tried to hype this up with Desmond Ridder, like, oh, Desmond Ridder's never lost a home game. He's 31-0 at home if you include college. Like, first off, no one cares. You're in the NFL now. No one cares. No one cares that you never lost a home game in college. No one cares.
There's some Atlanta Falcons fans that think Desmond Ridder's is still okay for them.
That's fine. That's fine. No knocking them. They have a right to feel that. They have a right to feel that. They have a right to. I'm not finna hold them. I'm not finna hold their feet to the fire on that. There's nothing wrong with supporting the guy that you got now. Nothing wrong with that at all. At the end of the day, you're 3-3. You still have a shot at winning this you still have a shot at winning the division. You're still in it. It's just his issues right now is consistency. Just be consistent. You can't go like you say, David. Last week you had a good game, and then you follow it up this game with 3 picks, and 3 bad picks at that. So just be consistent, and then that'll get the wolves off your back, and they'll calm all that chatter down about, hey, maybe we get Caleb Williams, maybe we get Drake May, maybe we get Penix if he one of them just play better. That's it. That's all.
And for Commanders, a really good bounce back game for Sam Howell. Didn't play particularly well against the Chicago Bears last week. Bounces back in a big way this game. 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. No turnovers at all for Washington in this game.
It was a more balanced attack this game. 23 pass attempts, 22 rush attempts. Sam Howell threw the ball 38 times, 48 times against the Bears. That's way too many attempts for him. It's way too many.
Christian?
Yeah, it was a perfect balanced attack. They were aggressive. They forced turnovers. Atlanta, it just got stuck in their own way. And, that's all I could really say about this one.
And shout out to Calais Campbell, 100 career sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Future Hall of Famer.
Defense played much better, too, man. Defense played much better, had 3 sacks on the game in this game. Yeah, 3 picks. So they definitely stepped it up this week in a big way. In a way that which we thought they would have played against Chicago, they stepped it up against another young team in Atlanta. So.
Moving on from this game, we got the Minnesota Vikings going into Soldiers Field and kind of stealing this victory, 19-13. Kirk Cousins, 21 of 31, 181, 1 touchdown. Alexander Mattison, 8 carries for 44 yards, 18, for 44. TJ Hawkinson, leading receiver, 6 for 50. Jordan Addison caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Minnesota Vikings, as Justin Jefferson was not available for this game. On the Bears side of this, obviously Justin Field fractured his thumb. I believe it was in the 3rd quarter, did not return. Dislocated. 6 of 10 for 58 and a pick. Tyson Is it Baggett? Is that how you pronounce it?
Tyson Badgett.
Badgett, yeah, 10 for 14, one pick. He also had the lone rushing touchdown for the Chicago Bears. DJ Moore, 5 carries, 51 in this game. And Deontay Foreman played pretty well in this game, 15 for 65.
Yeah, okay. First things first. I don't know what Luke Getsy called, but first play of the game, they have more guys at the line of scrimmage than you got than you have blocking. And one of them just comes off scot-free and sacks Justin Fields, hits him right in the back. I don't know if that's on Fields. I don't know if that's on the play calling, but usually if there's more guys at the line that you have able to block them, that's a clear-cut sign that, I don't know, maybe a blitz is coming. Just maybe.
Maybe audible out of it.
Yeah, maybe audible out of that, like slide protection, change the play, whatever. So this is 2 divisional games that we've seen Luke Getsy call the screen plays and the zone reads, and it's not just that. It's against opponents that know what we want to do. So it's like I don't know what I don't know if Luke Getsy thought like, hey, I called 2 great games against. I called a good game against Denver. I called a good game against Washington. Maybe the Wolves will leave me alone, and they'll forget about no, dude. I don't know what you like. I don't know what the fuck y'all talked about over the last 10 days, but that whatever that game plan was, they are so lucky I'm not in charge. They are so lucky. Like so many people will be fired right now. So many people.
Oh, we're glad you're not in charge, TJ.
Sometimes I wish TJ was in charge.
And I'm talking Herm Edwards style firing. Like I legit would have walked down from the press box or the skybox and like, hey, you're fired. Clean your stuff out today. Because I don't like the fact it feels like you called 2 completely different games. Like Badgett comes in and it's zone read handoff, deep ball down the field where you get bailed out for a PI. Like, dude, take the gloves off of both of them. You can't baby them. Let them play. We made so much progress. We made so much progress in 2 games just to go right back to square one with 1 bad game. And
the defense played good though. Hey, the defense played well enough though for them to win that football game. Down the stretch. Look at the time of possession for the Minnesota Vikings and the time of possession for Chicago, right? You had 10 more minutes in time of possession, a lot more 3 and outs for Minnesota, no long sustained drive. The defense was playing really well.
Made the difference. They capitalized on the turnovers. They got a scoop and score, and then we get a turnover off of them, and then Fields turns the ball over. They go down. They get a touchdown right before halftime. They capitalized off the turnovers. We didn't. Like it's just so frustrating, and I don't know. Like I legit don't know what needs to be done. Like everybody wants to get Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams he's not the fix it all. It's a lot of stuff going on that needs to be changed. Like organization, like this is trash.
Christian.
Yeah, I thought the Bears could have taken advantage of something because no Justin Jefferson.
Like this is a Chicago special, losing to a team without his best player.
Without their best player. Yeah, I almost wish TJ was in charge too, because I think seriously, I think TJ would have like every black grandmother from the South Side there just to whoop someone's ass like with a belt. He said, look, you become in charge of the Bears. Like, let me be your chief. I'll work with you.
Tell their ass go pick that. Hey, tell their ass go pick that switch off the tree.
Right.
And it better be a good one. Like, bro, like how do we go back from Fields? How do we go from Fields getting rid of the ball quick, making quick reads, getting everybody involved, dishing the ball out to now he back to waiting. Oh, somebody get open. Somebody, bro, like what the hell? What was talked about for 10 days? What was worked on for 10 days?
Soraya, I've actually heard that multiple times that I look like Jason Kelsey with the beard and everything. So I appreciate it. Sorry, go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, I mean, I think TJ pretty much analyzed it perfectly. Like, I'm at a loss of words because that grandma idea is like really sitting in the back of my head. Right
Like
now.
we should legit be like 100%. Like Denver, Washington. Like we should 100% be 3-3 right now.
Moving on from
100% should be
the
3-3 right
pain
now.
that is the Chicago Bears, let's move on from the battle between the NFC West and the AFC North. As Seattle falls to Cincinnati at home, 17-13. Geno Smith not one for the bulletin board. 27 of 41, 323 yards, 2 interceptions. Kenneth Walker got into the end zone as well in the rushing game. Tyler Lockett, leading receiver, 9 catches for 94 yards, or 6 for 94. Joe Burrow continues to kind of be back into rounding into shape a little bit here. 24 of 35, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that 1 interception. Joe Mixon, not really involved in their game, really. 12 of 38. And Jamar Chase, because he's always effing open, 6 of 80. And Tyler Boyd caught the lone receiving touchdown. And so did Andre, Iosivas. First career NFL touchdown for him. So shout out to him.
Also caught it on his birthday, so there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what I saw from Cincinnati yesterday because they did just enough offensively. Really didn't have to do much because their defense is really in control of this game. Pass rush really amped it up. This is the best I've seen that defensive line look all year long because they've been dominated off the trenches, left and right. Izzy and I talk about this all the time. You got to win the trenches and you got to be violent in the trenches on both sides of the football. And the Bengals did just that. And Seattle just had so many opportunities but couldn't punch the ball into the end zone. This is a big win for the Bengals. They're back at 500. They're on the bye week, and then they have 2 big tests coming up. They go to San Francisco and then at home for Buffalo.
Well, I guess you can say DK Metcalf gave him some bulletin board material with the whole.
Yeah, just don't say anything. Just don't say anything.
If
anybody knows about that, TJ, it's Jamar Chase. Because remember when he referred to the Cleveland Browns as the elves. Look, the elves got in his ass. Plain and simple.
And I guess you could say Devon Witherspoon held his own because 13 targets, he only caught 6 of them.
Yep.
That's.
Well, it wasn't like he had 15 catches like the week prior.
Yeah, it wasn't like what he did with the Cardinals. 6 for 80 yards. That's about as contained in Jamar Chase as you can hope for, right? So, this is one of those games defensively. I think Cincinnati needed that one on the defensive standpoint. Because Seattle, they kind of been they've been on a ish the past season and a half, really. Geno kind of reverted back to the Geno of old, like Jets Geno, 27 of 41, 2 picks, 4 sacks.
I just want to know why
he took that sack at the end of the game too. That was.
I just want to know why Seattle didn't attack Cincinnati where they've been attacked all year long, and that's the rush defense. Established Kenneth Walker III. He was my X factor coming into this game.
He had 19 carries, so
Geno Smith throwing the football 41 times is probably not a recipe for success for the Seattle Seahawks.
Football game.
No. Hey, no, that defense came out, showed up to play for Cincinnati. I like to see it, man. And like you said, man, the second week in a row where Joe Burrow looks somewhat healthier than what he did at the beginning of the season. That's a great sign for Cincinnati moving on.
And that bye week couldn't be coming at a better time for Cincinnati.
He's going to be rested and ready to go. And you can tell he's moving a lot better.
Gonna be good for my fantasy team too.
He's moving better in the pocket. You can see how stiff he was when
really stiff.
The first couple of games.
I just want them to get they run the game. They got a 35 to 15 pass to run attempts. Like that's
I would like to see them feature Joe Mixon more in their passing attack. Moving on from this game. Moving on from the NFC East into the AFC North, San Francisco 49ers suffered their first loss of the season as their kicker, Jake Moody, misses the kick that would have won them the game at regulation at the base of the horn. I don't think it was quite the horn because there was that penalty at the end, but might as well have been the horn. 17-19 as Cleveland kind of pulls out a miraculous, shocking victory here. Brock Purdy kind of looked mortal for the first time in a game in a regular season. 12 of 27, 125 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Chris McCaffrey, 11 of 43. He did get banged up in this game and did not return. I believe it was an oblique injury. Jordan Mason had the lone rushing touchdown for this team. And Brandon Ayuk led the San Francisco 49ers receiving yards, 4 catches for 76. Chris McCaffrey also had a receiving touchdown to stretch out that streak to 15 games. Deebo Samuel also got injured with a shoulder injury in this game and also did not return. PJ Walker, he got the W. That's all you can really ask for. But 18 of 34, 192 yards, 2 interceptions. Kareem Hunt had the lone rushing touchdown. Amari Cooper, 4 catches for 108 yards. And man, PJ Walker got so lucky on that play before they kicked the game-winning field goal. That should have been intercepted.
That was that was a terrible decision.
That was a terrible throw. Oh my God, he got away with one, threw it in freaking like, and then at that point it's like, dude, at least just run it and stay in bounds and keep the clock rolling. You gave San Francisco a shot.
That's what they said on the call.
Yeah. Just you throw that in the double coverage, you almost lost in the game there. But I want to say this. I mean, hey man, San Francisco came in. I don't know what happened before the game, but the pregame antics kind of. I don't know. I think that might have propelled the Browns to have some extra fuel here. No Deshaun Watson.
What's also this Browns defense has been incredible.
Oh, they are incredible.
I think like they're one of 5 defenses that haven't like. The numbers on their defense is like historic right now.
Yeah, I think yesterday was the first time I found out that the Browns are the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
So I'm like that's a first because all anybody ever talks about are the Niners and the Eagles. No one talks about
their defense has been historically good this season so far.
And Brock Purdy without Christian, you see he's the average, right? We talked about it.
Oh no, but Izzy, we can't say that. Otherwise, we hating. We don't know what we talking about. We can't say that.
I mean, now you get to see kind of like he may not be in that mold of Tom Brady. He's more in that mold of what Jimmy Garoppolo was, right? I mean, he's your quarterback game manager. He's got all those weapons. All you got to do is get it to him. And because I know a lot of people compared him to but I mean, I know a lot of people have been comparing him to Tom Brady.
How dare you say that? How
dare they have. There's been comparisons. I mean, the 7th round pick. He's been relevant. I know. Anyways,
you gotta let me
just trying to get some.
You gotta let me finish.
You gotta let me finish.
You gotta let me finish. I'm being sarcastic. Like I'm messing with you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead.
I mean, look, I think this is a humble loss for the San Francisco 49ers because whenever a team starts off undefeated, you hear that talk, when are they going to lose? And let's just paint the scenario right here. When a team is 8-0, 9-0, okay, 10-0, 11-0, you're at that point, okay, when are they really going to lose? Like the pressure is going to continuously build up and it's going to mound up, right? You get to 12-0, you win the division. 13-0, you clinch home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. 13-0 is kind of that pressure cooker because you're wondering as a head coach, am I going for perfection or do I pull my starters and do I start my second unit? And not only do I start my second unit, what am I playing for? Am I playing for a championship or am I playing for perfection? So I just think that huge weight is off their back right now. But kudos to the Cleveland Browns. And everybody wonders, how do you beat the 49ers? You saw it yesterday. You got to counterattack them with physicality. Beat them at their own game. Okay, they throw a couple of physical punches up front. We're going to do the same. And that's exactly what happened. Cleveland set the tone of this football game, and they didn't look back.
Well,
and they ran the ball pretty well.
When you see Myles Garrett hip toss Trent Williams, first off, it's a grown ass man. First off, you don't see Trent Williams get tossed like that by anyone, really. Miles Garrett pretty much came in and said, "These my bricks." And yeah, you may be that was Miles Garrett saying, "Hey, you may be going to Canton, but damn it, give me enough time, I'm gonna be there too." Like, hey. And again, like Izzy said, you take away Debo, you take away McCaffrey, you make Brock Purdy sweat a little bit. Oh my God, he's mortal. But you can't say that, otherwise you're a hater and you're this and you're that. Like, nah, dude, we're like Shannon Sharp caught hell on social media because he said Brock Purdy's not elite. He's not. He's not.
He's an accurate average quarterback.
He's you mean to tell me
this game, you know?
Like, you mean to tell if you put Brock Purdy in Carolina, he's still undefeated as a starter. He suffers his first loss as a starter yesterday. No,
he probably gets benched. He probably gets benched. That's
moving on from this game. We got a battle between the NFC South and the AFC East, which was not much of a battle, at least not after the first quarter. Carolina goes up 14-0. Miami scores the next 42 points in a row, and they win this game 42-21. Bryce Young was probably his best game of his career so far. 23 of 38, 217 yards and a touchdown. Chuba Hubbard also had a rushing touchdown in this game. Adam Thielen continues to have a strong season for this team. 11 catches for 115 yards and a touchdown. On the other side, Tua Tagovailoa continues what could be an MVP campaign if he can stay healthy. 21 of 31, 262, 3 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert banged in 2 on the ground, along with Savon Ahmed had another one. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Raheem Mostert all had receiving touchdowns, and Tyreek Hill had 163 yards rushing or receiving in this game. As they just turned it on, they were down 14-0 and never looked back. 21 points alone in the second quarter.
Big money.
Tyreek Hill gonna have 1,000 yards by next game.
Yeah, he only needs like 100 more, 100 or something more.
Yeah, man. If anybody, you know, like I said, big money. If you guys do them same game parlays, man, always look for Miami against the middling defense. I mean, I capitalized real nasty, real hard, and I almost capitalized last week on them too. And I think I might have hit something earlier in the year. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, man, this offense is amazing. I want to kind of talk about the Carolina Panthers a little bit, man. I mean, let me ask you guys something. Do you think that the development of Bryce Young is being hindered by this franchise, by the Carolina Panthers, the way they're calling plays, the way they're developing him? I mean, do you think it's yeah?
I guess it depends on what you expected out of Carolina this season. This is kind of what I expected out of them, right? Like I kind of figured they'd be.
And the one thing he really needs is here. Like Bryce Young would look a lot different if he had DJ Moore to throw the ball to, right? Like that's fair, right? Also,
he said the one thing he needs is here.
The one thing he needs is Carolina. Yeah, the one thing he needs is here. And so it's now you got rumblings then that they were coming out before this game that the GM wanted Bryce Young, but Wright wanted CJ Stroud. So now we got a Miami situation all over again where Brian Flores, the head coach, wanted one guy, but the GM drafted another guy, and it's so now you got that all over again. Frank Reich has now ceded play calling to whoever the OC actually is now. So Frank Reich's not calling plays going forward. You're 0-6, so it's like, hell, why the hell not? We got to try something. You don't have your first round pick anyway. So it's like, so to answer your question, like you can argue that it is. Like
I totally think it is. I think it's dysfunction. And I only say that because I heard those rumblings.
Thomas Brown is the offensive coordinator of the Carolina Panthers, so I don't know anything about it.
And I'm sorry, but I only say that because I heard those rumblings, TJ. That's why I brought the question up. I heard the GM didn't want the GM wanted Bryce Young because
listen. Like no matter who they had drafted in this scenario would be dealing with the same scenario. This team is just avoid.
I don't know about that.
I think CJ Stroud is a bigger quarterback. He's got a stronger arm.
This team is devoid of talent. Like least in Houston, they have a linchpin left tackle, a lockdown left tackle. They do have some weapons on the outside. Like I know not a lot of them played. I think Nico Collins is better than any of the wide receivers right now in the Carolina Panthers. This team just doesn't have talent.
Is he better than Adam Thielen right now?
He is.
Is it? What is his?
It's close. I mean, it's close.
Thielen's playing really damn good.
I mean, Nico Collins has been pretty good this season.
Carolina spent the first round pick on a left tackle last draft, did they not?
And you look, and I know Miles Sanders is hurt, but damn it, he doesn't. He before he was hurt, he didn't have any room to run. I mean, the offensive line isn't giving them any type of anything. They're probably just as bad as the New York Giants. I'm sorry, Christian. But
it ain't hurting my feelings. You're right.
No, I'm just saying. It's pretty bad. The offensive line there in Carolina. But when I look at Bryce Young, I think I had these questions. I mean, how many 5'10", 5'11" quarterbacks are depending on to be great in the NFL, right? How many of them do that? How many of them?
Here's the thing.
Can you think of one?
It's not the fact that he's only 5'10". It's the fact that he ain't got no bricks in the back pocket. Russell Wilson is 5'10". Russell Wilson's also like 2 1/4.
That is true. He's built better.
Hell, Kyler little as hell too, but Kyler's stocky. Kyler got some weight to him.
Well,
he also spends a lot of time injured as well. But I mean, Carolina still. Yeah, I think they got some. This is not going to be a short rebuild. Like they have to kind of let this thing work out.
It's literally the same thing here. Like it's not a one stop. Hey, we're one piece away. Like that's why I try to tell people all the time. Just because you got this one guy at quarterback, it's not a magic fix. It's not, hey, we got the guy, now we got it up. If that's the case, the Jags would have never made the moves they made for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence spent his rookie year in Jacksonville. It got him what? The number 1 overall pick the next year.
Yep.
If they were so content, you know what they would have did? They'd have just stayed packed. They wouldn't have made nothing. They'd be like, hey, we got our guy. He's going to fix this. No, you got to help him out. So give him some time.
And I'm going to say this too. Even if Miles Sanders comes, they do need to start using Chuba Hubbard a little bit more too.
Man, they got to use everybody. I see.
He seems with Miles Sanders. I feel like Miles Sanders showed it, but he showed it because he had the big holes right in Philly. They had the power offensive line. Well, with a guy like Chuba Hubbard. I mean, he's a guy, north-south guy. He can run through arms. I mean, he's a physical runner. And so I think that you need to use him a little bit more, I think, even when Miles Sanders comes back to help out Bryce Young a little bit more. So
go ahead.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the other blowout that happened on Sunday. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars putting a hurting on the Indianapolis Colts 37-20. Gardner Minshew, one of his worst games as a pro, 33 of 55, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Zach Moss also had a rushing touchdown. And who had the Josh Downs had the receiving touchdown.
David. Josh Downs. I'm sorry, guys. This is probably this game. Probably we ain't got much to say about this game, but I want to say this. Josh Downs helped out everybody's fantasy team with the garbage touchdown.
Trevor Lawrence on the other side, 20 of 30, 181, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Travis Etienne put in 2 on the ground. Christian Kirk and Bretton Strange had the received touchdowns for the Jacksonville Jaguars as they won this game big in Duval County.
Okay, I misheard you, David. You said 33 of 55, and I thought you said he only threw for 150-some yards. I'm like, bro, what was you doing?
255.
329, actually.
Yeah, 320, sorry, yeah.
1 touchdown, 3 picks. I'm like, I just, you said that too fast. I'm like, he threw the ball 55 times and didn't even have 200 yards passing. I'd have cut his ass right then and there. But anyway,
how elite is, I know this, I mean, the Colts defense has played somewhat well this season. How elite is Travis Etienne?
Yeah, it's pretty damn elite. I mean, he's been really good this season. Yeah, I mean, second real season after he lost that rookie season with the Liz Frank injury. Yeah, he's been pretty good this season. Christian, go ahead.
I don't think. Right? Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to come up with something.
Moving on, we'll just move on. To the battle between the Souths, we got the NFC South and the AFC South locking horns, and CJ Stroud pulling off an upset, kind of an upset, I guess, of the New Orleans Saints, 20-13. Derek Carr had one of those games. 32 of 53, 153 yards, 1 touchdown and a pick. Alvin Kamara, 19 carries for 68 yards. And Rashid Shaheed had the lone receiving touchdown for the New Orleans Saints. Chris Olave near the century mark with 96 yards. On the other side, CJ Stroud continues his strong play. Did throw his first NFL interception in this game with 13 of 27, 199. Devin Singletary, leading rusher for this team, 12 for 58. And Dalton Schultz, Bobby Schultz's cousin, Dalton Schultz, had the lone receiving touchdown. Robert Woods dusted himself off, also had a receiving touchdown in this game.
The Saints just don't do it for me. I thought they were going to be a hell of a lot better with, having a more established quarterback in Derek Carr. And it just seems like they're afraid to be aggressive down the field. They're too conservative. And it just looks like Carr isn't on the same page with these wide receivers. I like this Houston team. They play hard for the D'Amico Ryans. They leave it all on the field. And David, I told you, CJ Stroud was throwing an interception. I told you it was eventually going to end. But Houston, there's something to watch in the AFC South.
Jimmy Ward has really been the catalyst of that defense.
He really has. That guy, yeah.
Yeah. So I go back to one of the Saints fans here in the comment section, Dennis Allen. I don't know some of his decision making. I don't know who's the offensive coordinator per se down there in New Orleans. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of what people believe is that Dennis Allen's got to go. Making excuses. I'm not going to make excuses for the Saints. They do need to play better. They have much better talent than what they're showing. This is a game. I think this is a game with Houston that a lot of people have circled on their calendars as they expected. Oh, this is a W. This is a W. Well, 6 games through the season. Hey, you gotta scratch that off because that's not a W anymore. Because Houston's going to come and bring it.
Also, shout out to David Henderson for checking us out here at the podcast. We always appreciate him.
Absolutely. So yeah, I do believe that the play calling does need to be a little bit better. I'm on the same wavelength as Christian. You threw it 50 times with Derek Carr, gotten a lot of third down situations in this game. They need to be a little bit more physical. I expect more from this offensive line as well. To be a little bit more physical, commit to the run a little bit more. I think it'll be a little bit better when Jamal Williams comes back, right? Yeah, I think when Jamal Williams comes back, you have more of a north-south runner than Alvin Kamara. You kind of use that dual running back threat that you'll have there down in New Orleans. They're still 3-3. I still believe that they'll win the NFC South. So that's it. So,
DJ Christian,
I got nothing else.
Moving on from this game, we're going to swing back into the AFC, and we got the the New England Patriots going into Death Star in Las Vegas and losing that game 21-17. Mac Jones, another one of these inconsistent games, 24 of 33, 200 yards and an interception. Roger Stevenson, I think first touchdown of the season, good for him. Ezekiel Elliott also had his first touchdown of the year. Kendrick Bourne led the team in receiving 10 for 89. On the other side, Jimmy Garoppolo, 14 of 22, 162 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He unfortunately left this game and went to the hospital. I believe it's a back injury. There has been no updates on his status whatsoever so far. On the side of this, Raiders, 25 of 77 for Josh Jacobs. Michael Mayer, best game as a pro, 5 for 75. And Jacoby Myers caught another touchdown. As he's been kind of good this season so far for the Las Vegas Raiders. As they pull out the victory 21-17.
And I'm surprised, Michael Mayer, they said it last game, Jimmy Garoppolo's really advocated to use those tight ends more, and you're starting to see it. Michael Mayer being used more in the last couple games. On the New England side, at this point, this guy Mac Jones threw a terrible interception.
Yeah,
he's inconsistent. I know he brought. Honestly, I'm gonna say this. Hey, Bill Belichick might as well just put a package together for Malik Cunningham. Why not?
Yeah.
What do you got to lose? Put something together for Malik Cunningham.
Sign him up the practice squad. Might as well roll the dice.
Might as well roll the dice for Malik Cunningham and just suck it up all the way. I said this. Just suck it up all the way. Just go ahead and and just tank all the way so you can, go get you a top pick, so you can go get you another franchise QB and just start this thing over. I don't even think Belichick's even going to be there next year. Who knows? But Malik Cunningham come in, and if folks don't know, TJ, folks don't know who Malik Cunningham is. He's the quarterback that played for Louisville right after Lamar Jackson left for Louisville. He was Lamar Jackson's backup at Louisville, so he's just as athletic. Well, not just that, but he's pretty athletic. They actually made him change positions. They said, you ain't playing quarterback, you're playing wide receiver in the NFL when he got to the NFL. But I say you put a package together with Malik Cunningham. He can throw the ball a little bit. He can get out the pocket. Why not? I thought they were going to do it yesterday.
The whole moving off Mac Jones thing, I don't think that's the conversation people need to be having in New England.
Well, they need to move off with somebody else. Well, hey, come on. It's hard to move on from
the
a coach
hell
that got you 6 bowls.
The hell it ain't.
They got you 6 bowls. It's going to be hard. That's
the hell it ain't. Hey, no. Because you know what it looks like right now? Hey, bro. Tom Brady got me them 6.
Yeah.
Not you.
But yeah, this is a good win for Las Vegas. You know,
is it? No, it's not. No, it's not.
It is. They're 3-3. They're right.
They're
in the
1
in the AFC.
You beat a 1-4 team. It's not.
It's a good win.
I would know. It's one of those. You have to win. You better win.
No, wait. I would say the tidbit out here to why.
And it's one of those rare instances where Bill Belichick actually beats Bill Belichick. That never happens.
Yes. That's why I would say it's a good win, because finally one of his assistants. What's the record now? 4 and.
I don't have that number in front of me.
Let me ask y'all this. So like, given the season how it's gone, they scored their first offensive touchdown in 12 quarters, and y'all calling that a good W? Man, get next game.
Moving on from this game, we're gonna swing into the AFC West. We got the Arizona Cardinals falling to the Los Angeles Rams 26-9. Joshua Dobbs 21-41, 235 yards and a pick. He also led the team in rushing. Michael Wilson, leading receiver for this team. And Matthew Stafford, 15-24, 226 yards, 1 touchdown. Kyron Williams had himself a field day, 20 carries for 158 yards and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp also caught his first touchdown of the year. He had 148 yards receiving. As I don't think we're going to have a lot to say when it comes to this game. But
Cooper Kupp is the man. They were supposed to win this game. That's it. That's all I got to say. Hey, look, let me say, the Cardinals play real tough though, man. I'll say that, but they were outmatched in this game. Cooper Kupp, he just is amazing, bro.
If y'all see that one play Aaron Donald had where he just literally,
he's amazing too.
He just ripped through the offensive lineman and then just snagged old boy down. It's just like,
he's amazing.
That's just Aaron Donald.
He's a superhero.
The Cardinals played hard. They 1-5 too. They play.
They do play hard as hell though.
9 points is playing hard. Is he?
No, I mean you're outmatched. Come on. I mean the score.
They're
how hard they play. I watched that game.
They're devoid of talent. They do what they could.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams averaged 8 a carry. That's not playing hard, bro. And we're not finna act like
Buda Baker is not even playing for this team right now. We're not finna act like the Rams have this stellar offensive line in front of them, bro. Let's not do that. Come on, man. I'm not wasting any more time on this game. Moving on to the fall of the second to last unbeaten team. Philadelphia Eagles at 5-1 fall to the New York Jets 20-14. Jalen Hurts, probably one of his worst games in a couple seasons. 28-45, 280 yards, 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. He also had the lone rushing touchdown for this team. DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift had that lone receiving touchdown for the Eagles. Zach Wilson, pretty solid for him in this game. 19 of 33, 186 yards. Grease Lightning Hall, not quite, but 12 of 39 for a touchdown. And Garrett Wilson, leading receiver, 8 of 90.
I just want to say this. when we did.
And you know what else is crazy about this? Like
What?
the Jets did this without Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed, their best two corners, and they still picked off Hurt 3 times in this game.
So
also sacked them 2 times.
So yeah, your comment about this is his worst game in a couple seasons. Like, no, he threw 3 picks against the Bears last season. No one remembers that, but that was a bad game for him too.
Nobody remembers that because they ended up winning the game.
And
Doesn't
AJ
matter.
Brown, I think
3 picks
I
is
think
3
AJ Brown
picks,
is the. I forget what the stat is, but he's had 4 games in a row with over 125 receiving yards. That's got to be some sort of record.
I mean, if it was, best believe
there has to be some sort of. It was something that they said on TV. They said he's like the 4th wide receiver or something like that. He's in some type of record, some type of company with that. But anyways, this Jets defense is.
Hey, they for real, but they also gotta send Rodney Harrison a thank you card in the mail. Because ever since he said what he said about Zach Wilson, he tried to bait who was that? He tried to bait
Ryan
Jones.
Fitzpatrick.
No, he tried to bait
Chris Jones.
He tried to
Chris
bait
Jones,
Chris Jones
into saying that this guy was garbage.
He's a
Zach
bum.
Wilson was garbage.
You gave this team a rallying cry, and how different, like what a difference a year makes, because last year they couldn't wait. Like they were wearing Mike effing White shirts to the games when Mike White was named the starter. They looked visibly dejected when Mike White got hurt and Zach Wilson had to go back in. And even this season, like it's all like you have Mike Greenberg, who's a Jets fan, like, hey, I never want to see Zach Wilson play a down for the Jets again. Like now it's, hey, you're 3-3. You're 500. Like people basically wrote y'all off when Rodgers.
This Jets team kind of gives me those AFC champion. You know, when they have Mark Sanchez and they have those stellar defenses where those defenses are just kind of carrying them. I agree with Robbie Sala, man. They played some pretty decent quarterbacks and they have made them look pretty average. Pat Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Godly, I can't remember. I can't throw Mac Jones and those guys in there. They played. I think they played Russell Wilson.
You played Josh Allen.
Josh Allen too made him look a little.
David Henderson said it was Aaron Rodgers. Him walking again scared him.
Hey, no, but hey, let's start. Hey, Zach Wilson. Okay, he doesn't have to do too much. And the one thing that does concern me about the Jets, and I think we'll know. I mean, they're what 3 of 11 on third down. They gotta fix their third down. They gotta convert on third down a little bit more. But Zach Wilson, I mean, you could see, in the last couple weeks. I mean, just some of the improvement that he's made. I mean, I don't want to say he's Aaron Rodgers-esque, but I think he's taking notes. I mean, some of the things, his hard counts, some of the play fakes that he makes, some of the decisions that he makes. I mean, you could tell that Aaron Rodgers kind of been in that film room with him, and it's kind of been in his ear a little bit, giving him some confidence.
You can say that, but he ain't. They still.
He's not Aaron Rodgers. No,
I mean, this defense is carrying the New York Jets for sure. Moving on to the final game in the late afternoon window, we got the Detroit Lions beating down Tampa Bay in Raymond James Stadium, 20-6. Jared Goff continues his stellar play so far this season, 30 of 44, 353 yards, 2 interceptions. Craig Reynolds, 10 carries for 15 yards. As Dave Montgomery got injured in this game, I believe it's a rib injury, but don't quote me on that.
Cartilage injury. He's gonna be out for a few weeks.
He's gonna be out for some time.
Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williamson both had receiving touchdowns for the Detroit Lions. On the other side, Baker Mayfield really struggled in this game. 19 of 37, 206 yards and a pick. Rashad White, 7 for 26, and Chris Godwin, 6 catches for 77 yards. As Tampa Bay is unable to get into the end zone for the first time this year.
Hey. Top 5 offense, top 10 defense, man.
Yeah,
for Detroit.
Yeah.
And then since week 9, sorry about that, Christian. Since week 9, they're 13-3 of last year. Since week 9 of last year, they're 13-3.
The Lions are the real deal. I had Dan Quinn. I mean, not Dan Quinn, Dan Campbell as my coach of the year, and he's making me look really good right now. I mean, they're doing on both sides of the ball. This team is for real.
I would just cut back on. I mean, I understand David Montgomery got hurt. Jahmyr Gibbs didn't play either, but I don't want Jared Goff throwing the ball 44 times. That's just me. And again, like Jared Goff caught a lot. He caught a lot of unnecessary hate during his time in LA. But you saw what happened. Like you saw what happened when they got the right stuff around him, right? Jeff Fisher out, Sean
Mhm.
McVay in. You make some moves, and you get competent around him all together. And again, by hook or by crook, he got you to a Super Bowl. He did get there. Didn't I ain't like the way he got there, but he got there. And are we in the twilight zone? The Lions are good. Yeah,
Yeah. Lions are
yeah.
good.
Hey, I told the guy that I was born in. I told the guy he born in like 1979. I said, "Hey man, name 10 Lion teams." And because he's super happy about the Lions. I was just giving him stuff. I said, "Man, hey, finally a good team. Can you count 10 Lion teams that have been good since you're in your lifetime that have made the playoffs?" He's like, "Damn, I can only count 8." And this guy's like almost 40. He's like 40 years old. So I'm like,
No, but
this
like
is a big
that.
deal for
No,
them to be
Man,
good.
if he was born in '79, he's almost 50 years old.
Oh no, is it not? He's born in 80, whatever, 80.
but like when,
Mid 80s, mid 80s.
but like really think about it.
He's
Again,
40.
I said it last week, right? Like when you finally get the right people in charge, the right people to make the right necessary moves, like they got GM right, and it got out to a rocky start, but it looks like they got the head coach right too. They've made better decisions. They've made better personnel decisions. Again, you had like we made jokes about them because you had 3 Hall of Fame talents, not obviously not on the roster at the same time,
Two of
but
them
you
were.
had 2 of them were. 2 of them were.
And I'll end it with this. Go ahead.
Well, no, maybe 3 because you can argue. You can argue in Dominican Sue. Like I argue. I ain't saying he's going. I ain't saying he getting in, but you could argue that he was like Hall of Fame talent, and you just for whatever reason it just couldn't put it together for what not consistently, at least. Like
And
I think what the Matthew Stafford Calvin Johnson Lions made the playoffs once in
One
my
time.
lifetime, and they
One
got
time.
screwed. And they got screwed in Dallas because that's the only thing.
That's the Brandon Pettigrew non-pass interference call.
Non-PI call. So yeah, like
yeah, no, man. Hey, look, like Jahmyr Gibbs probably coming back next week. We'll get to see what the rookie's made out of. He should be refreshing up coming off that injury. And then hey man, I like the fact that Jameson Williams came on at the right time. He caught a nice pass. It was beautiful. Nice deep pass from and that's what you got him for, right? To make those big splash plays like that. Reynolds is good. Obviously, you already know what you're going to get out of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is if he's the most consistent wide receiver in the NFL, other than outside of Tyreek Hill, in my opinion.
He's the sun god for a reason. And speaking of missed pass interference calls, moving on to the Sunday night football, we got the New York Football Giants, Christians, New York Football Giants, going into Orchard Park and giving Buffalo everything they can handle. Losing that game though, 14-9. Buffalo does not score a touchdown or a point until the fourth quarter of this game. Tyrod Taylor came to play and returned to team that basically ended the drought there in Buffalo. 16 years. He was the quarterback that took him to the playoffs. Also, Brian Daboll returned to Buffalo as well in this game. But Tyrod, 24 of 36, 200 yards. Saquon Barkley had a good game here, 24 for 93. Darius Slayton, leading receiver for the New York Giants, 4 for 69. Josh Allen, 19 of 30, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. That touchdown he threw to Quentin Morris is one of the nicest throws you will ever see. It is just an absolute laser. James Cook, 14 for 71, as this was actually a very balanced attack for the Buffalo Bills. Basically a 1-to-1 split between passing and rushing. Stephon Diggs continues to go over the century mark, 10 for 100. And then Quentin Morris and Deontay Hardy had receiving touchdowns for the Buffalo Bills, as that was an absolute pass interference on the final play of the game, and it should have continued the game.
Final 2 plays.
Well, I mean, they called the first one, but the second
one. They called the first one, yeah.
That second one should have been called as well, without a doubt. But
Christian go because he's the Giants fan here.
I'm gonna start with Buffalo first. Who are they? Because just a couple of weeks ago, the praises were high after beating Miami. Oh, this is the best team in the AFC. They go over to London, get punched in the mouth. They come back, and they didn't look all that great to me yesterday. Yeah, it was a balanced attack offensively, but I saw a team that played down to the competition. I mean, they should have really.
That game should have
David
been
right
over
there,
by the third quarter.
the best.
That game should have been over by halftime. What are you talking about? Have you seen the Giants' record of Sunday Night Football this year? What are they, 70-20 in those, or 70-3 in those games? Like,
Yeah, but the Giants played soft, but I just think that questionable call before halftime that I think stuck with them because
That hurt them.
Points, you would have been up 12 points if
That hurt him. That hurt him for sure, Christian. I don't know what the confusion was. I think they got 2 plays there.
they would have been up 9. They would have been up 9.
They got 2 plays there, and I think what happened was that I don't know if it was Tyrod Taylor saying, "Okay, I want to get my guy one, right? I want to get Saquon one, get him that mojo, back." Because that's what kind of it felt like to me. Is that okay? We're at the 1, and we're gonna punch this thing in. With our guy Saquon back there, but I mean that defense is way too good to be doing that. I think you keep the ball. If you're Tyrod, you have to keep the ball and you have to throw that ball. And then when I look at this whole game, man, the Giants defense, man, the Giants. I don't know if this is a testament to just the play, the lack of execution. I think by Buffalo, offensively throughout the whole game. Or just the Giants defense was just up for the task. I mean, Bobby Okereke literally set the tone. He set the tone in that game.
11 tackles in this game, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections, and he forced a fumble that Mika Fitzpatrick.
And with saying Bobby Okereke, he was involved in a very violent hit that put Damian Harris out, who's gonna be okay, who has only a sprained neck, but they took all the precautions that they can out there in Buffalo, so he's gonna be okay. But he set the tone for that defense right from the get-go, and they were hitting hard. And like I said, a lot of guys say, "Oh, the refs aren't going to call 2 back-to-back pass interference calls." Well, you know what? If it's as blatant as that, you call it 10 freaking times in a row. I don't care if it's 2 times in a row. I don't care what you got on. I don't care if it's as blatant as that. You call it 10 times in a row, 15 times in a row, because that is unacceptable. You're right there. You're right there.
All right. So first things first, David. I don't care that the Giants are terrible on Sunday Night Football. Does Brian Daboll not know the Buffalo Bills? Does he not know them like the back of his hand?
Yeah, of course.
So does it make more sense as to why they struggled this game?
Sure. It does.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to continue making excuses for Buffalo, sure.
So that's like me. So that's like Izzy, who's like, bro, like that's like Izzy, who's known your basketball game forever, coaching against you, and you going out and having a terrible game. Did you have a terrible game because you're terrible, or does Izzy know your game?
I mean, both things can be true, but in this case, I think yes, a lot of it has to do with the fact that Brian Daboll knows this offense, knows this defense, and the fact that the Buffalo on defense, at least, they're replacing 3 starters on the fly here. I mean, and they lost and Desire Elam hasn't been quite even close to remotely good this season. So, but yeah, Buffalo won a gritty, dirty game, and like you got to win games like this sometimes in the National Football. You just do.
I mean, obviously, like the everything. Only thing everybody's talking about is the PI call.
And I think the other thing is Buffalo kind of beat the Giants at their own game. Like at the beginning of the first half, the Giants were like, we're going to limit the amount of possessions in this game. We're just going to play a dirty, muck it up the game. And Buffalo came out the second half. We're like, we'll show you dirty and mucking it up. We're going to only have 5 possessions throughout the entire second half.
I'm going to say this.
We're going to hold the ball for 10 minutes a drive and like try to beat us. Like that's
I know
exactly
they paid
what
Daniel
happened.
Jones a lot of money, man. I know they paid Daniel Jones a lot of money, but I'd keep as much as he's been hit, as much as he's been sacked. I'd keep him out for a couple more weeks and let Tyrod Taylor.
I think the other thing is this team played harder for Tyrod Taylor.
They do.
At the same time, it's a neck injury too that he's dealing with. Like that's not something. It's like, all right,
you can't just come back to.
Let's come back from a neck and like, no, bro, like that's not.
You hear that, Izzy? An Izzy coach team would put up 70 points. 70 steamer against the New York.
I don't think I'll put up 70 stinkers, but hey, man. Hey, you know what? And I'll say this: you said Saquon. It was looking like a grim game for Saquon at first. I think he had like 16 carries at first for only like 25 yards, and then it was that one drive in the third quarter where they kept running. They ran the same trap play like 5 or 6 times, and Saquon bust off
then
two
Buffalo
of them,
and
two
Buffalo
long
made an
ones.
adjustment later in the game.
So
Yeah,
look,
where they shot the linebacker up the gap.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so you know, like, hey, for a team that brought up a guy like Justin Pugh off of the couch, like as you said at the beginning, I was impressed by the grit of the New York Giants, and they were right there at the end. And I think that they're a team that deserved to win that football game. I hate the fact that we're gonna call PI on the first play, but we're not gonna call PI on the second play, which was even more blatant. You think a 5'11" guy is gonna stop a 6'6" Darren Waller from catching that football without not getting some type of advantage? Let's be serious here.
And I also want to say this, man. How about Bobby Akira, Kenny? He was all over the field last night for the New York Giants. Every time you saw him, he was around that ball.
Mm-hmm.
And this just goes back to the fans' biggest gripe with officiating. You can't, like, fans are at a point, like they've been at this point for a long time. Saying you're sorry, oh, we missed it, oh, we'll be better, is not cutting it with these fans anymore. Like, we're on our couches watching these games, and we can see the penalties better than y'all can, and y'all right up close on them. Like, you can't pick and choose.
I'm not sure how you missed that PI at the beginning. And they used to be able to review this stuff. They took that out of the game. Like, because
David, here's the thing.
Anyway, I don't want to get into a lengthy conversation about
we're too late. Too late. We're already on it, because here's the thing. Like, they took it away because the refs, like the league, doesn't want to admit they're wrong.
I also don't think the league wants to show up their own officials as well.
And that's what it is. But it's like the punishments, like the punishments don't fit the crime. Like it's, oh, you made a bad call. Well, you can't ref important games. Like, how does that? No, what trade-off is that?
I mean, imagine if it impacts some of your check, but I don't really know that for sure. But yeah, thank you very much. This has been our Week 6 recap so far. Monday Night Football is going to be kicking off here within the next 5 minutes. Who do you guys
anthem right now?
Yeah, who do you guys got tonight? Dallas or the Chargers? I'm taking the Chargers. I think Austin Eckler's going to have a massive game in this game. He's already getting into
Chargers. The Chargers, baby. Yes, sir.
I mean, either way it goes, Undisputed is going to be 2 hours of Cowboy topics tomorrow. So,
oh my gosh, yeah.
I actually think Dallas bounces back here. I don't trust the Chargers defense.
I don't trust Brandon Staley.
Right, and here's the thing. I think Tony Pollard can have a big game because the Chargers defense is one big old.
Let's hope he doesn't, because I need him not to.
Why? Fantasy?
You already know. We'll be back here tomorrow doing our preview and prediction show for week number 7. Keep an eye out for that content. I'm David Huffman, Israel Rivera, TJ Hopkins, Christian Simpson. What?
David's playing against me in fantasy here down the stretch here.
Oh.
Yeah. David's got 2 players left here, coming down to the wire, baby.
I'm down by 22. I need Dak Prescott to have the game of his life. But yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow. You all have a good night. And gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime, my friends?
That's what
bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen. hey, I know it's early, but shout out to Elick Io Manor, baby. Putting up a almost 300 yards on Colorado. My bad, y'all.
Yup.
Have a good night.
Yeah,
we'll be back here tomorrow with fantasy football.
We coming with it, baby. And prediction
show. David Henderson, I also have Dak Prescott. Good luck to you, my friend. You guys all have a good night. Stay safe out there. Peace out, Christian.